Now, Sophie Cunningham was getting booed the whole time. She was in New York. Ain't nobody say nothing about Sophie getting booed. Caught on camera actually encouraging the boos. Take a look at this. Look, listen. I'm living in that. Now, y'all see Caitlin Clark standing right there like, come on, keep on booing. Keep on booing. Doing a good old Hulk Hogan. You dig? Doing a good old, we need to hear some more of that. Well, nobody crying about it. This caption said it's a fever or not soft. We embrace the smoke. And if they boo us, here is how we handled it. Now, we know ultimately.
Let's unpack exactly what happened, because this wasn't your average player versus fan exchange. From the moment Alyssa Thomas stepped on the court, it was clear she came in with a chip on her shoulder. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was jawing with courtside fans, throwing shade, and even taunting Fever supporters with the line, "I came to play for a real team." But the boiling tension didn't end there.
And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
Today, Sophie. If they didn't like you then, they sure aren't going to like you now. Sophie Cunningham has been making waves with the new podcast that she is now featured in, courtesy of The Volume. Sophie Cunningham letting it all out and not holding back one bit. She calls out the old guard. She calls out the people out there who refuse to say Caitlin Clark is the face of the league. People who would rather say this person and that person. What about her? What about her? No, there is only one face of the WNBA. There's only one person that has casuals sitting down in front of a TV, glued to their sofa, watching the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham also talks about how teams target being rough with Caitlin Clark. We gotta toughen her up. We gotta rough her up a little bit. We gotta really show her what it's like over here in the WNBA. And Sophie Cunningham says there's how we treat rookies, and then we had to add a little something extra for Caitlin Clark. She also talks about defending Caitlin Clark in that viral Connecticut Sun game and what the locker room chatter was between her and Caitlin Clark.
Throughout the game, Thomas took heavy heat from the Indiana crowd, who were especially vocal in defending DeWanna Bonner, a former Fever favorite now playing elsewhere and routinely booed when returning to Indiana. Instead of tuning out the noise, Thomas made it personal, and as the game neared its close, she made it unforgettable. While walking back to the bench, Thomas raised her hand and flipped off the fans. No ambiguity, no misinterpretation. It was a direct, deliberate gesture. A middle finger to the very people who paid to be there.
So Alyssa Thomas had all the smoke for the Fever fans. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it wasn't just like just normal smoke. It wasn't just normal beef. It was what people from the country will call Dublin. She had the big smoke. Like, she absolutely had all the beef for. She, let the fans hear it, all of this stuff. Satu there, telling the fans to keep up the booze. And what did they do? They lost. And what did Alyssa do? She went hiding. We had the song yesterday, which ended in Stop Crying, Cat Copper. But you know what? We might as well have ended it with Stop Hiding, Alyssa. Because at least Cat Copper, got in front of the mic. At least Cat Copper got in front of the mic and said whatever the hell she said.
Sophie, one half of the Blonde Bombers, Sophie, the Trophy Cunningham, launched her new podcast, and boy, she exposing the WNBA. Y'all are getting exposed for the nasty work y'all was doing. We said over and over again, and people tried to act like us, Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever fans, were crazy and being soft when we said, yo, she's clearly being targeted. She's the most flagrantly foul player in the league.
This wasn't banter. It wasn't clever trash talk or heated competition. This was a professional athlete openly disrespecting the crowd, families, children, and loyal supporters who make the sport viable. In a league where building bridges with fans is paramount, Thomas set one on fire. Social media lit up instantly. Clips of the incident went viral in minutes, and the backlash was swift and sharp. Fans were furious, analysts were stunned, and WNBA veteran Sophie Cunningham, she wasn't staying silent.
I mean, just a hell of a job, y'all. That was a big win. Okay? That was a big win. We stacked the deck.
And it was a great team effort to beat DeWanna Bonner in her return to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Had to feel great for the fans there to see her vanquished and not playing well, and Alyssa Thomas complaining all over the floor. Bonner booed in her return.
We got to celebrate beating down DeWanna the Scammer Bonner. Cheers, my friend. Cheers, buddy. DeWanna Bonner, I just want to start here. You stink. You stunk it up. You caused all that ruckus. I thought you stopped shooting threes hitting the side of the backboard when you took the Indiana Fever jersey off.
Sophie Cunningham, the response heard round the league. Within hours, Cunningham, known for her unfiltered honesty, issued a scorching response via her podcast and social media, and she didn't mince words. If you can't handle fans booing you, Sophie said, you're in the wrong profession. She drew a clear line between resilience and recklessness. Cunningham referenced her own experience being booed relentlessly, especially in high-pressure games in New York. But instead of shrinking, she thrived. She turned jeers into fuel. That, she said, is what real competitors do. And the fans agreed. Fever supporters, feeling insulted and dismissed by Thomas's gesture, rallied behind Sophie's unapologetic defense. Unlike Thomas, who skipped media responsibilities after the game, Cunningham stepped into the fire, fielding tough questions and standing firm in her convictions.
Bonner booed in her return, which is to be expected, considering the circumstances in which she left. And the players that have come in for the Fever are much better than Bonner was for them. Ari McDonald has been a revelation. She was great in this one again. And Chloe Bibby looks like a perfect fit. So all in all, Fever fans have to feel pretty damn good about that win.
We seen Alyssa Thomas jawing at it with fans, kind of, making a complete fool of herself. And now she's finna be getting fined because she refused to speak to the media. Now, I believe Angel Reese did this last year too, after this.
She didn't just call out bad behavior. She called out a bad mindset. She pointed to the wider responsibility athletes carry today. We're not just playing ball anymore, she said. We represent the league. Every word, every post, every gesture, it all reflects back on us. The ripple effects, more than just a finger. Behind the scenes, the situation escalated quickly. League officials launched a formal review by sunrise. The investigation wasn't limited to the obscene gesture.
On a Fever game, she had refused to talk to the media for whatever reason. But it seemed like this is what they do in this league. Like when things don't go their way, they just refuse to talk to the media, which is so freaking weird to me. So this was released today, and it stated Alyssa Thomas provoked last night that she's the lamest of lames. All that is talking and then ducks the media presser. That's exactly what she did. Media availability rule broken last night by the Mercury. 2025 WNBA season media access policy state no later than 10 minutes following the game, each head coach and two players, leading scorer and key contributor per team, will be available in the separate press conference rooms for in-person Zoom media. Alyssa Thomas and the Mercury will likely be fined because they chose to break the rule. Now, this came out last night. Well, I believe early this morning about them breaking the rule.
Listen, it is game day. Indiana Fever versus the Phoenix Mercury, and you know what that means. The Indiana Fever fans are about to be all in the news tomorrow being called racist. I can already see it. Let's not play no games. Let's get right to it. The Indiana Fever fans are about to be labeled racist. You know why? Because we got DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas in town. They always cry wolf. They always make something. It's always something.
It also covered Thomas's media no-show and an ongoing feud with Fever fans dating back weeks. Insiders confirmed that Phoenix was preparing for a substantial fine, and league offices were already re-examining fan interaction protocols issued after the Marina Mabre suspension. Corporate sponsors were watching too. One executive from a major athletic brand confirmed to Sports Business Journal that they contacted Mercury leadership for clarity. Endorsements for Thomas are safe for now, but continued volatility could invoke clauses in her contracts related to brand damage. In today's sports ecosystem, a single viral moment doesn't just spark outrage, it can reshape marketing strategies and athlete reputations overnight. The league's crossroads, spotlight or shadow. Veteran players are reportedly divided. Some feel Thomas is being overly scrutinized for showing passion, especially in a league that has often allowed male athletes similar outbursts without consequence. But a larger number, many speaking anonymously on national podcasts, voice deep concern. You don't flip off the people who pay your salary, said one former MVP.
When it come to them. And boy, we cannot afford to lose to them. I don't care if Caitlin Clark is playing or not. The way DeWanna Bonner came into Indiana, stole that money and ran off, there's no way we could let her win. But there's a bigger picture here. I'm preparing you guys for what is coming. After the game, they're going to get to the podium, and all they're going to do is talk about how nasty the fans are. Oh, as players, we shouldn't have. Oh, if anybody boos them, they're going to say how nasty the fans are. They're probably going to say they heard animal noises like somebody else from the Chicago sky. It's going to be something like we already know what comes with these two. They are going to make a scene. And then we got Bree Turner on our team, and she's probably going to make a statement siding with, like, we know how they give it up. This is going to be nothing but drama after the game. I'm telling you, it's going to be how, Indiana is racist again. It went from beginning, I see, Indiana's racist too. All-Star, everybody's calling it Indiami, talking about it feels like Miami. Now watch Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner flip the script and make it sound like the entire Indiana is racist, when DeWanna Bonner was just welcome with nothing but open arms in Indiana. She was embraced. A lot of people didn't even want her, but once she signed, she was fully welcomed and embraced. And that's facts. That's facts. We didn't really want DeWanna Bonner. We didn't really, as fans, we didn't want her. She was an op. She was oppy. She been acting mad oppy. We knew that.
Especially not when the league's negotiating $1 billion media deal. And that's the heart of the issue. This isn't just about a middle finger. It's about the image of the WNBA at a pivotal moment. Viewership is up, media interest is growing, cultural relevance is surging, but with that growth comes pressure and responsibility. When players lash out publicly, it doesn't just tarnish their image, it ripples across the league, affecting everything from fan trust to sponsor confidence to TV negotiations. And in this case, it drew a stark contrast. 2 paths, 1 lesson.
All right, fam, we all got to talk about it, man. We know the rivalry that's going on with Alyssa Thomas and the Indiana Fever fan base, right? The big rivalry. Now, there was a clip, man, where basically you can see Alyssa Thomas going back and forth with a fan, man. I mean, she just, I don't know if she just can't ignore anybody that's just coming at her, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure it's not anything racist or anything like that. I just think they get under her skin. they just get under her skin. And maybe since her first incident, whatever the case may be, she just didn't like it. So after that, she just can't stand the Indiana Fever fan base. Now, honestly, I don't feel like this fan base, full of kids, right? Full of people that loves the game of basketball, full of people that loves Caitlin Clark. I don't think they are really saying anything racist or out of pocket, right? Now, this is a game of sport where 2 teams are going against each other, right? 2 rivals, 2 fan bases, right, are going against each other. You are allowed to be talked about, all right? You are allowed to be talked about. As long as they are keeping it within the game and, not really attacking anything personal or talking about family members or, you know what crosses the line, right? Y'all know what crosses the line. Anything within the parameters of that, right? Where you're talking about basketball, you might say somebody suck. I don't know. You might even throw in somebody your ponytail too tight. You might throw something like that in there, right? But I think as long as you don't call people out of their names, right? Get really disrespectful. You keeping it within the rivalry of basketball, the rivalry of sports. It's sports, all right? It is sports. People are allowed to root against you, okay? It's as simple as that. People are allowed to root against you.
Today, Sophie. If they didn't like you then, they sure aren't going to like you now. Sophie Cunningham has been making waves with the new podcast that she is now featured in, courtesy of The Volume. Sophie Cunningham letting it all out and not holding back one bit. She calls out the old guard. She calls out the people out there who refuse to say Caitlin Clark is the face of the league. People who would rather say this person and that person. What about her? What about her? No, there is only one face of the WNBA. There's only one person that has casuals sitting down in front of a TV, glued to their sofa, watching the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham also talks about how teams target being rough with Caitlin Clark. We gotta toughen her up. We gotta rough her up a little bit. We gotta really show her what it's like over here in the WNBA. And Sophie Cunningham says there's how we treat rookies, and then we had to add a little something extra for Caitlin Clark. She also talks about defending Caitlin Clark in that viral Connecticut Sun game and what the locker room chatter was between her and Caitlin Clark after that game. First off,
Alyssa Thomas responded to adversity with aggression. Sophie Cunningham responded with accountability. One escalated, the other elevated. As the league finalizes penalties and Phoenix holds closed-door meetings, Fever fans will remember. And every time Thomas steps back onto that court in Indiana, this moment will be replayed. Not just as a flash of disrespect, but as a turning point in the season's narrative. The bigger takeaway is crystal clear. In a time of unprecedented attention, every player carries the WNBA's brand with every step they take. Those who embrace the spotlight with grace, poise, and professionalism, they're the ones shaping the league's future. Those who don't, they risk being remembered for all the wrong reasons.